Boys, today we're going to be going through UFC Vegas 103 Kape versus Almabayev this Saturday. We're running through that entire card, giving you guys my rare predictions on who I think is going to win and how. You know, we did pretty good last week. I didn't get to do every single prediction because some got added in, but I went like 8-2. That's pretty good. We are currently 44-26. Not half bad. I think we're going to destroy this card. I think we're going to get them all right, to be honest. I don't think we're going to get a single one wrong, but I do have some, I believe, underdogs. I don't know. I don't really look at the odds, but some of these guys have to be underdogs, right? But I got my picks. Let's start off with the prelims, flyweight division. I'm not going to lie, this card it's hard to go from such a great card from last week into this one. I'm not that excited for this card. I was maybe a little harsh in my last video saying how this is going to be a shit card. There's some fun fights on here. Let's start it off. Flyweight division, Charles Johnson taking on Ramazan Temirov. Now, Charles Johnson is a very technical striker with decent takedown defense, good speed, good output, good cardio. He's able to, go all through rounds, no problem. His cardio is good to go all through rounds, probably all 5 rounds if he was scheduled for 5 rounders. And all of his losses in the UFC have been to good quality fighters who, once the striking wasn't working in their favor, they turned into wrestlers. And Temirov, on the other hand, is a super fast striker with some really good power for the division. He is pretty creative on the feet, and he also has some decent takedown defense on his side. Me personally, I made a video on this dude. I think he's out of this whole flyweight division, he's the best chance of being a future champion. I think he could be a future champion. I think this is a hard matchup for him though, but I do think he gets it done. I could see Temirov catching Charles Johnson, but I think it's going to be a 29-28 split decision. I think it's going to be a very, very competitive fight, but I got Temirov in this one. Let's go flyweight division, women's flyweight division. Montana De La Rosa taking on Luna Carolina. Now, De La Rosa, she's a good wrestler. That's her strong suit. Having started in wrestling background, then started moving into MMA. Her striking has been getting better and better at every fight, but it's still nothing that great. Where Luna Carolina, she's a good striker, a decent takedown defense. She has a really weird, awkward striking style that, she has some good knees, some good elbows, but her weird style just makes it very hard for her opponents to make a read on her. And for fights like this, for fights that who gives it at the end of the day, typically 99% of the time, 99% of the 100% of the time, that the better looking girl loses. So Luna by decision, 29-28. It's just how MMA math works. But let's go down to that featherweight division. Danny Silva taking on Lucas Almeida. Danny Silva is a striker with some clean textbook, technique, and is always moving forward. He has some good footwork. He likes to work in the body early, and his striking defense it's not the greatest. He definitely does get hit quite a bit, and his takedown defense is good. He has good get-ups, and he won't just sit on the ground and just allow himself to be controlled. He will try to make his way back up, where Lucas Almeida, a very powerful striker who loves to move forward, throw heavy punches, and pretty much just wants to land the big right hand and get you out of there. His takedown defense also not the greatest. It's probably the worst part of his game. I think, again, we're going to see a decision, 29-28. I'm going Lucas Almeida. It just depends if Lucas can get up from Danny's takedowns, because I guarantee on the feet, I personally think Lucas might be a little bit better on the feet, plus the power advantages on the Lucas side. I think Danny's shooting for takedowns, and it depends how well Lucas can either stuff them or get back up to his feet. I think he'll be able to make his way back up, land the more devastating shots. I'm going Lucas Almeida, 29-28 decision win. Let's go down women's flyweight division. Andrea Lee taking on JJ Aldrich. Now, Andrea Lee is I guess she's a fairly dynamic striker she's good at using the basics. She's also pretty tough. She never really gives up on herself. She can manage range pretty well. Her grappling has been improving, but her takedown defense is still pretty garbage. Her recent losses have been to some pretty quality opponents and some split decisions that just haven't went her way JJ Aldrich, on the other hand, is a decent is very, very like flattering, but she's a decent striker, good takedowns, a good top pressure game. But she's one of these girls that relies on, you know, the volume striking, the making noises when throwing a punch in order to get the win. She's not that dangerous anywhere, and to be honest, I don't know if it's a lack of fight IQ or just pure recklessness. She loves to run forward, you know, zero defense, and just ends up getting smacked in the face with like a left right. You know, she has no defense. I think, you know, regardless of Andrea Lee being on a 5-fight losing streak, JJ is just actually bad. I'm going 29-28. I think Andrea Lee's breaking that 5-fight losing streak. Let's go down to the bantamweight division. Douglas Silva de Andrade taking on John Castaneda. Now, Douglas is one of these fighters who've honestly just been around for a long ass time. He has some good boxing skills, solid BJJ. He loves to turn fights into a dirty boxing match inside the pocket or on the ground. And, you know, when he's on the ground, he's good at, you know, winning a scramble to get on top. But to be honest, in his last few fights, he's definitely starting to show his age. He's definitely not the same fighter that he used to be. He's definitely slowing down in all aspects, where John Castaneda is a very well-rounded fighter who has some good pace. You know, he moves forward with some fast hands. He'll shoot for a takedown when there's an opening for it. But the biggest thing is he does lack any real power to make him dangerous on the feet, other than like the volume, you know. With that being said, again, Silva's just getting old. I don't think he's the same fighter. He's starting to slow down in every single aspect. I'm going 30-27 John Castaneda. I think he's the younger guy. I think he'll be able to win in every aspect, to be honest. Again, it's a young man's sport. I think time is catching up to Douglas Silva, and let's keep moving down. Featherweight division, Ricardo's Ramos taking on Chepe Mariscal. Now, Ramos is a very dangerous fighter with some slick BJJ, some very dynamic striking, some high kicks, some spinning kicks, a very good solid jab, some good leg kicks, and he's decently tough, you know. He can win any minute of any round, to be honest. I'm pretty sure he had a comeback win not too long ago, maybe even in his last fight. So he can win any minute of the round, even if he's losing. Mariscal, on the other hand, he's fairly well-rounded as well. He has some good BJJ, some good kickboxing, some good wrestling. He sometimes doesn't have the best fight IQ and will just engage in a firefight, but he has some crazy pressure, some stupid level cardio, which he does use to, you know, break his opponents. I think currently I can see two outcomes. I'm going 29-28 decision win, where Mariscal uses his cardio to melt Ramos, but I would not be surprised if Ramos can find the KO somewhere in this fight. I'm going with Mariscal, though. Let's go down to this welterweight division. Danny Barlow's taking on Sam Patterson. Now, Danny Barlow's is a very rangy striker. He has some good power for this division. He likes to work in his range. You know, he'll occasionally not be in his range, get into the pocket, where he has some nasty lead uppercuts, some nasty hooks. He also has some pretty powerful kicks, and to be honest, on the feet, he's just dangerous all around. He has some good fight IQ, and, you know, he waits for a good opportunity to shoot in. He doesn't headhunt. The only issue is sometimes, like, on the back foot, he can shell up and shoot for takedowns, like unwarranted takedowns, but other than that, he has some decent BJJ, good positioning on the ground, won't go for submission over position. Sam Patterson, on the other hand, is a very long dude for this division, 6'4" at 170, crazy. He uses his length well, he uses his reach well, he's able to wrap you up on the ground, but when it comes to striking, it's weird because he's not very good at using his reach when it comes to striking. His striking is honestly pretty garbage. And because of that, I think Danny Barlow is better everywhere, especially on the feet. He should like dog walk Sam Patterson. It could get a little bit hairy on the ground, but I don't think it'll get there. I don't think we'll see Sam Patterson, you know, be able to take down and hold Danny Barlow. I'm going second round KO win. Danny Barlow using his range very well. I'm seeing like a classic 1-2 down the pipe, to be honest. Let's go down to this main card now. Featherweight division as well. Hyder Amil taking on William Gomis. Hyder Amil is a very aggressive striker who will constantly be walking you down, taking some of your shots so he can land his own, getting into the pocket to do some work. Luckily, he does have a pretty decent chin and some pretty good power as well for the division. The ground isn't his strongest suit, and to be honest, he often gives up position because of the lack of fundamentals, where William Gomis is a fairly well-rounded fighter. He can strike, he can grapple, he also has some decent Muay Thai striking and grappling. This dude's volume is shit, let's be realistic. Go watch his go watch any of his fights, let's be realistic. His volume is garbage. He lands it seems like five shots per round. It's terrible. He can struggle to let his hands go, but William Gomis is just honestly better everywhere. Realistically, I think he uses his range. He manages Amil's aggressiveness. I'm going 29-28. Maybe Hyder lands some strong shots in the first round, winning that round. But other than that, I think William Gomis pretty comfortably wins this fight. Let's go down to the heavyweight division. Austen Lane taking on Mario Pinto. Now, Austen Lane this dude is honestly just known for being big, having power, and being fairly athletic because of his football background. But he uses all that shit to grapple his opponents, get them to the ground, do some ground and pound work. But honestly, he's just not that good. He's not that good. Usually this dude runs forward like a retard, throwing just terrible strikes in hopes to be able to grab his opponent and get him to the cage, and just using his size and athleticism to take them down. Where Mario, on the other hand, he's a technical striker who can often be a slow starter, but once he does find his rhythm, he lets them hands go. He also does a good job working in some leg kicks, but like every heavyweight, he does have some power, but he doesn't chase the KO. He does have a tendency of leaning his head back to avoid strikes, which will 100% get him KO'd in the future. But I don't think Austen Lane's that dude to do it. I don't think Austen Lane's that good. I'm going towards, I'll say mid first round KO. Once Mario finds his rhythm, knocks Austen Lane out. Let's go down, because I don't think Austen has the best chin in the world either. Let's go down to the lightweight division. I believe this is the featured fight. Nasrat taking on Esteban Ribovics. Now, Nasrat, he is a solid striker. He has some high volume, good takedown defense. He's a good fighter, but Esteban Ribovics is a very skilled striker with good power for the division. He throws tight and accurate shots. He also has a pretty high guard, high and tight. He's not letting any strikes get in for the most part. He also has a strong grappling game with him as well, with solid takedowns and BJJ. I think Esteban is honestly a lot better than Nasrat. I'm going second round KO. I think Esteban is really, really talented. I think he's practically better everywhere than Nasrat. Second round KO. Let's go down to this co-main event. Middleweight division. Cody Brundage taking on Julian Marquez. Cody Brundage he's like one of these very heavy-handed wrestlers who he has some questionable fight IQ at times too. He can just be caught in stupid submissions, where Julian Marquez is a very well-rounded fighter. He won't give up on himself, but he does have a tendency to fade later in the fight. Should be a fun fight to watch. I think, the heavy-handedness of Cody Brundage is going to play a big factor. I'm going second round KO as well. I just don't think Julian has looked the same recently. I think age is catching up to him. Honestly, I think go look at this dude before he entered the UFC. He was on all the sauce, and he got into the UFC, hasn't looked quite the same. So I'm going second round KO, Cody Brundage. Just go down to that flyweight division, the main event. Manel Kape, Almabayev. Now, Manel Kape, he's one of these very fast, explosive strikers who's always looking for the knockout. He has some good pressure. He's really good at bouncing in and out of range, and he's a decent wrestler as well. He has everything to win, to be honest, and Almabayev is a good dynamic striker. He has some good grappling, good control, good striking, good at using his striking range. He can work in some spinning shit. He has some good takedowns, and he's good at controlling his opponent on the ground. I think there's two possible outcomes for this main event. Number one, it will be a very, very close decision for either guy could win, or Manel Kape gets another highlight reel KO, and I think that's a better outcome. So I'm going Manel Kape highlight reel KO somewhere in that 5-round fight. I don't care how it is. I think my boy's getting another highlight reel KO. With that being said, let me know what you guys think of it. It's fucking like 4 a.m., 4:30 a.m. where I am right now. I haven't slept yet. I'm going to try to edit this shit, post it for you guys. We can get back on schedule. Thank you guys for watching to the end of the video. There's really not that much else left to say, except for I will see you guys in my next video.